Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. We'll just wait a few minutes for some more people to join and then we can start with Ziyarat.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. السلام عليك يا أبا عبد الله. السلام عليك يا ابن رسول الله. السلام عليك يا ابن أمير المؤمنين وابن سيد الوصيين. السلام عليك يا ابن فاطمة الزهراء سيدة نساء العالمين. السلام عليك يا ثار الله وابن ثاره والوتر الموتور. السلام عليك وعلى الأرواح التي حلت بفنائك. عليكم مني جميعا سلام الله أبدا ما بقيت وبقي الليل والنهار. يا أبا عبد الله، لقد عظمت الرزية وجلت عظمت المصيبة بك علينا وعلى جميع أهل الإسلام. وجلت عظمت مصيبتك في السماوات على جميع أهل السماوات. فلعن الله أمة أسست أساس الظلم والجور عليكم أهل البيت. ولعن الله أمة دفعتكم عن مقامكم وأزالتكم عن مراتبكم التي رتبكم الله فيها. ولعن الله أمة قتلتكم ولعن الله الممهدين لهم بالتمكين من قتالكم. برئت إلى الله وإليكم منهم ومن أشياعهم وأتباعهم وأوليائهم. يا أبا عبد الله، إني سلم لمن سالمكم وحرب لمن حاربكم إلى يوم القيامة. ولعن الله آل زياد وآل مروان. ولعن الله بني أمية قاطبان. ولعن الله ابن مرجان. ولعن الله عمر بن سعد. ولعن الله شمرا. ولعن الله أمة أسرجت وألجمت وتنقبت لقتالك بأبي أنت وأمي لقد عظم مصابي بك، فأسأل الله الذي أكرم مقامك وأكرمني بك أن يرزقني طلب ذلك مع إمام منصور من أهل بيت محمد صلى الله عليه وآله. اللهم اجعلني عندك وجيها بالحسين عليه السلام في الدنيا والآخرة. يا أبا عبد الله إني أتقرب إلى الله وإلى رسوله وإلى أمير المؤمنين وإلى فاطمة وإلى الحسن وإليك بموالاته وبالبراءة ممن قاتلك ونصب لك الحرب، وبالبراءة ممن أساس الظلم والجور عليكم، وأبرأ إلى الله وإلى رسوله ممن أساس ذلك وبنى عليه بنيانه وجرى في ظلمه وجوره عليكم وعلى أشياعكم. برئت إلى الله وإليكم منهم وأتقرب إلى الله ثم إليكم بموالاتكم وموالاة وليكم وبالبراءة من أعدائكم والناصبين لكم الحرب وبالبراءة من أشياعهم وأتباعهم. إني سلم لمن سالمكم وحرب لمن حاربكم وولي لمن والاكم وعدو لمن عاداكم. فأسأل الله الذي أكرمني بمعرفتكم ومعرفة أوليائكم ورزقني البراءة من أعدائكم أن يجعلني معكم في الدنيا والآخرة وأن يثبت لي عندكم قدم صدق في الدنيا والآخرة وأسأله أن يبلغني المقام المحمود لديكم عند الله وأن يرزقني طلب ثاني مع إمام هدى ظاهر ناطق بالحق منكم. وأسأل الله بحقكم وبالشأن الذي لكم عنده أن يعطيني بمصابي بكم أفضل ما يعطي مصابا بمصيبته، مصيبة ما أعظمها وأعظم رزيتها في الإسلام وفي جميع السماوات والأرض. اللهم اجعلني في مقامي هذا ممن تناله منك صلوات ورحمة ومغفرة. اللهم اجعل محياي محيا محمد وآل محمد ومماتي ممات محمد وآل محمد. اللهم إن هذا يوم تبركت به بنو أمية وابن آكلة الأكباد اللعين ابن اللعين على لسانك ولسان نبيك صلى الله عليه وآله. في كل موطن وموقف وقف فيه نبيك صلى الله عليه وآله. اللهم لعن أبا سفيان ومعاوية ويزيد بن معاوية، عليهم منك اللعنة أبد الآبدين. وهذا يوم فرحت به آل زياد وآل مروان بقتلهم الحسين صلوات الله عليه. اللهم فضاعف عليهم اللعن منك والعذاب الأليم. اللهم إني أتقرب إليك في هذا اليوم وفي موقفي هذا وأيام حياتي بالبراءة منهم واللعنة عليهم، وبالموالاة لنبيك وآل نبيك عليه وعليهم السلام. اللهم لعن أول ظالم ظلم حق محمد وآل محمد، وآخر تابع له على ذلك. اللهم لعن العصابة التي جاهدت الحسين والشايعات وبايعات وتابعات على قتله. اللهم لعنهم جميعا. السلام عليك يا أبا عبد الله، وعلى الأرواح التي حلت بفنائك. عليك مني سلام الله أبدا ما بقيت وبقي الليل والنهار، ولا جعله الله آخر العهد مني لزيارتكم. السلام على الحسين وعلى علي بن الحسين وعلى أولاد الحسين وعلى أصحاب الحسين. اللهم خص أنت أول ظالم باللعن مني، وابدأ به أولا ثم العن الثاني والثالث والرابع. اللهم لعن يزيد خامسا، والعن عبيد الله بن زياد وابن مرجان وعمر بن سعد وشمرا وآل أبي سفيان وآل زياد وآل مروان إلى يوم القيامة. اللهم لك الحمد حمد الشاكرين لك على مصابهم. الحمد لله على عظيم رزيتي. اللهم ارزقني شفاعة الحسين يوم الورود، وثبتني قدم صدق عندك مع الحسين وأصحاب الحسين الذين بذلوا مهجهم دون الحسين عليه السلام.
Thank you so much for such a beautiful recitation. Today's speaker is Sheikh Mirza Abbas. For those who don't know him, Sheikh Mirza Abbas studied in the Hawza Ilmiya of Qum for 11 years and graduated from the Madrasa of Imam Khomeini. He also has a master's degree in theology from the University of Birmingham. He is currently program leader at the Islamic College in London and specializes in Islamic jurisprudence, Islamic law, and mysticism. Sheikh Mirza Abbas extensively writes in Islamic journals. One of his famously translated works is Theological Instruction by Ayatollah Misbah Yazdi. Sheikh, thank you so much for joining us today. Alhamdulillah, we have the pleasure of Sheikh talking to us on some lessons we can take from Hazrat An and Muhammad. We are currently live on YouTube as well as Instagram. So if you have any questions during the talk, please do send them in. And inshallah, Sheikh will have time after the talk to answer them. Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Thank you very much for inviting. Alhamdulillah. Glad
Please,
to be
Sheikh,
here.
whenever you're ready.
Yes, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Wassalatu wassalamu ala Sayyidina wa Nabiyana. Habibina wa Tabib Nufusina Ashrafil Anbiya'i wal Mursalina bil Qasim al Mustafa Muhammad. وآله الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين المظلومين ولعنة الدائم على أعدائهم أجمعين من الآن إلى قيام يوم الدين. أما بعد عظم الله وجورنا ووجوركم والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم يا أبا ذر احفظ الله يحفظك احفظ الله تجده أمامك. There's a very beautiful saying of the Prophet to one of his companion Abu Zar. He says, O Abu Zar, احفظ الله يحفظك. Protect Allah so that Allah can protect you. And احفظ Allah, protect Allah in a sense or in a way, تجده أمامك, as if He is right in front of you, as if you see it. Now, today I would like to reflect, and you all together perhaps, when I speak, you can just, reflect on taqwa. The reason why is because the series of the discussions that we are having is known as the people of calamity. Calamity. If you look at the reality of calamity, one side of the coin have two sides. One side is calamity, and the other side of this coin is imtihan, is a test from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I mean, they look alike. Calamity looks exactly the same as a test. Musiba looks exactly the same as a test. So now, when we say that, oh, what I did, and because of what I have done, I'm facing this musibat or this problem. The sins that I have committed, because of the sins that I have committed, I'm facing this musibat. Well, or this azab, for example, right? I'm facing this azab, for example. Well, this azab that I'm facing, maybe it is not because of the sins that I have committed, but this is azab, but this is calamity, but it is an imtihan, it is a test. Not necessarily that a person commits something wrong, and because of him committing something wrong, he faces azab, he faces the repercussion of that. The possibility of a person being tested is there. Na'udhu billah. On and Muhammad, they did anything haram or anything wrong, that they face so much of calamity. Or Imam Hussein alayhi salam, Hazrat Zahra salamullah alayha, the Ahl al-Bayt in general, have they done anything that was, na'udhu billah, a sin because of what they are facing all of these calamities? Just as we see in the stories of the Quran that they do something wrong because they have done something wrong. In return, Allah punishes them. Calamity falls upon them. Well, they have done something wrong. In return, this is what they are seeing, the azab, right? But in the case of Ahl Bayt, or in the case of Mu'mineen, in the case of those awliya, those who are on the path of Ahl Bayt alayhi salam, the calamity is usually an imtihan, is usually a test from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And when we try to uh, dissect, or when we try to understand the intensity of the calamity, it returns back to the intensity of Iman. It returns back to the intensity of the faith. It returns back to the intensity of taqwa. That's what I said, taqwa. The first hadith which I mentioned was about taqwa. Now, what do I mean by that? What is taqwa? Why all of a sudden this new word have been coined? We were talking about calamity, people of calamity, musiba, azab. We understood that. An imtihan, it's a test. Okay. So people of calamity, people who are facing this calamity because they are tested. So it's an imtihan for them. For all of us right now, this corona, COVID-19 we are in, it is have the element of imtihan as well. It has the element of azab as well, right? So for people who are awliya, for them it is indeed an imtihan, right? For people who've been, engaged in corruption, in killing, in taking life, killing innocent people, it is indeed an azab for them. Anyway, not to get into that. So now, imtihan is a test which is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which we, or perhaps the one who have organized the talk, have given the name of calamity. I just wanted to clarify this calamity is actually, which this musibah is actually a test, and it is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because the ayah of the Quran goes that ma asaba min musibatin, there is no musibat that comes down, that that manifests, that comes. There is no musibah that comes illa, except that it is because of your amal, right? In a verse of the Quran, it says that there is no musibah that you are facing right now. It is because of your own self. What you have done, basically, what you're reaping your fruit. The musibah is because of you. You did it to yourself. It is not from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right? Because whatever good comes, it is from Allah. Whatever evil comes, bad comes, it is from yourself. That's what Allah says to us in the Quran, and that is the case. A person who is a good person, he will have good in the hereafter. فَمَنْ يَعْمَلْ مِثْقَالَ ذَرَّةٍ خَيْرًا يَرَى وَمَنْ يَعْمَلْ مِثْقَالَ ذَرَّةٍ شَرًّا يَرَى. If there is an evil person, something atom weight of evil I do, what I will face in the hereafter is evil, is musibat I will face. If an atom weight of good I will face good. So Allah is right when He's saying whatever musibat that is because of you, is you yourself have done it. However, in another place in the Quran, we find a verse which says that ma asaba min musibatin, there is no musibah famin Allah, that comes from Allah. Everything that musibah is there. There isn't any musibah that comes from Allah. Obviously, that's the case. How? Because la hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. Whatever comes, it comes from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. No individual, no power, no nature have the power to do something, by itself, in itself. Everything is by the quwwah. Everything is by the power of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, by the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So, ma asaba min musibatin famin Allah. Whatever musibah is there, that musibah comes from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right? There is no musibah that comes, that musibah comes from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. However, the concluding part of this ayat is different. The concluding part of that ayah is that the musibat is that whatever musibat comes is because of your action. But the concluding part here is something different. The concluding part of this ayah is ma asaba min musibatin famin wa man yattaqillah, the one who practice taqwa. The word taqwa, I will open up this word taqwa. But the one who practice taqwa, yahdi qalbahu, his heart, yahdi, his heart will be guided. So there is a problem that comes. There is a calamity that comes from Allah. And this is a test from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Am hasibta, as it says in Surah Ankabut, have you ever thought that you say you have iman and you will not be tested? The very first verse of Surah Ankabut. He says, you think that you are saying you are a mu'min and Allah doesn't test you? Definitely Allah will test you. And the test of mu'mineen is more heavier than the test of other people. As they say, and a mu'min should be worried if he doesn't get a calamity in 40 days. Within every 40 days period, he is tested from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. A musibat comes from Allah to really test him. So always there is imtihan, always there is a test, there's a problem, and there's an issue. So, وَمَنْ يَتَّقِ اللَّهِ, the one who is God-weary, the one who have taqwa. Taqwa means God consciousness. See, insan, human beings, they live according to two principles. One is their ideology, their belief, what they believe in, their vision, their ideology. They believe in something. That's one. The other thing is the implementation of this belief, the practice, the vision, the ideology, the understanding. That's one principle, human beings have, the other is the implementation of this ideology. The implementation of this belief is taqwa. When our belief is what? Tawheed. The belief of Tawheed, the belief that God is one, the belief that God is just, He is just, Adil. The belief that Muhammad Rasulullah, the belief that Imam Zaman is alive, the belief that there is a Qiyamah and we will be questioned on the day of judgment. How can this be implemented? How can this be practiced? That is taqwa. That is taqwa. That's God wariness, God consciousness. In every affair, one should really remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. From little things to big things, from committing sin to something that is mustahab, which is facing towards the qibla while having my food. I'm having dinner. Everybody have dinner. Everybody have lunch. You have lunch. I have lunch. I eat anyways, regardless of what the food is. Whatever I get hungry, I eat. But the point of taqwa here, the point of God consciousness here is that when I'm having the food, all of a sudden, I say, in which direction am I facing? Am I facing Qibla while eating food? Am I not facing Qibla while I'm eating food? I become God wary. I become God conscious. Yes, there is taqwa in what I'm eating as well. What I'm eating is halal or haram. That is taqwa indeed on a higher level because it's about haram. It's tark of muharramat, anjam of wajibat, fulfillment of wajib, leaving the muharram. That is haram on a higher level because there are, there are tests or there are imtihan or there are expectations of a mu'min to be in the state of taqwa all the time. So here, halal or haram food, but taqwa is also, as they say, it is mustahab to face Qibla, Kaaba and eat. So I sit on a place where I'm facing the Kaaba, where I'm facing the Qibla. Then another example. Well, I'm sitting, now I realize that, well, I'm actually in the opposite direction, but my friend who is sitting in front of me, he's facing the Qibla. Then I say, oh, excuse me, can you get up, please? Can you come here? I want to go on the other side, please. Okay, because I want to face the Qibla. No, I would say, oh my God, now it is very impolite. It's not polite to make him or her get up from the table that they are having food, and I want to sit towards the qibla because Maulana or Sheikh said that it is sunnah to face the qibla, it is taqwa to really face the qibla and have food on the highest level, and so on and so forth. So I will ask him or her to get up and I go to him or her place and I will sit there and I will face the qibla. No, I would say that, oh, qibla is in that direction, my friend is facing towards it, why not? Alhamdulillah, let him face or let her face and get the reward, whether she knows or whether she doesn't know. But I know, oh Allah, I didn't get the opportunity today, but my niyat is that I face. What's happening here? What's happening here is that I am being mentally aware. I am being spiritually aware. My heart is present in which direction the qibla is and the food that I am having. So that is taqwa. So now I go back to the, I gave you an example of how taqwa could be on different levels, not just halal and haram. All the time, Ya Abu Zar, the Prophet is saying that, oh Abu Zar, ihfaz Allah, protect Allah, meaning that all the time. So that Allah protects you. What type of protection? What does protection of Allah means? Protection of Allah really means that, protecting the commands of Allah. Allah have said this is halal. I'm not trespassing his command. I'm protecting his command. That is taqwa. And then he says that, oh Allah, oh Abazar, protect Allah in such a way that you see Allah in front of you. And that is the highest level of irfan. That is the highest level of mysticism, of mukashafa, where man sees God in front of him. That's what Amirul Mu'mineen says. Ali says that I never saw before everything Allah. I never saw after everything but Allah. I never saw with everything Allah. ما رأيت شيئا قبله الله بعده الله معه Allah. I saw nothing but Allah. The vision becomes that vision of Tawheed. And practically speaking, also that taqwa is there. When that musibat comes, Imam Hussein, now I'm going towards Masaib, I don't have much time because I have to conclude the verse as well, talk about Hazrat On and Muhammad. Imam Hussein on the day of Ashura, musibat after musibat, calamity after calamity, and he is fighting. And what a fight he gave. He would attack the right wing of the Yazidi army and mark it with the spear. Goes to the left wing of the Yazidi army, mark it with the spear. And he was conquering the land of Karbala. The army of Yazid were pushed back towards the Kufa. The way he was fighting in the most organized fashion. What a fight Imam Hussein gave, right? But when he used to place the spear on the ground after conquering the right land, he will put the spear on the ground. And what he would say, he would not say, wow, what a great fighter I am, how strong I am, how many, heads been, tossed in the air because of my strength. He would say, La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. He would say, La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. And then he goes to the left, La hawla wa la quwwata. This is not me. This is the quwwat parwardigar. This is Allah. This is the power of Allah. Hussein is nothing. Hussein is nothing. But the truth is Allah through Hussein, right? There's the quwwat of Allah. So now, this is the vision that there is nothing but Allah. That's why Imam Hussein for Shimr also said, Shimr, please don't kill me. When Shimr was on the chest of Imam Hussein, give me water. Shimr, why? Because Hussein is mercy. Hussein does not want, why Imam Hussein cried? Imam Hussein cried for Shimr. He says, because of me, Shimr gonna be put in hell. He does not want Shimr to be in hell, right? He is caring and merciful towards them, right? Right? It's the mercy like the mercy of the ultimate mercifier, the limitless mercy of Allah. Very similar. There was Ayatollah Darbandi, a great scholar. He would go to the Zari of Imam Hussein in Iraq and he would shout, Hussein, don't do shafa'at of Shimr. They would say, Ya Allah, Ajaga, Imam Hussein will do shafa'at of Shimr. He said, why not? He is the mercy of Allah. He is Omanaur Rahman. What do we call them in Ziyarate Jame Kabira when we address Assalamu Alayka? Ya Omanaur Assalamu Alaikum, Ya Omanaur Rahman. They are the minarets of mercy of Allah. They can do shafa'at. It's not ba'id that they would, the possibility is there. He would say that, don't do it, right? Hussein's vision is that. That's what the mother of On and Muhammad also mentioned, Ma ra'aytu illa jamila. I saw nothing but beauty. That is the vision of Tawheed. His Her father says, I saw nothing but Allah. Imam Hussein, Hazrat Zainab say, I saw nothing but Jamal, beauty, right? That is the vision of Tawheed. How this vision comes about is because of that taqwa. When that musibat comes, ma asaba min musibatin famin Allah, whatever musibat comes from Allah. Wa may yattaqillah, the one who is muttaqi, the one who is God wary, the one who is God conscious. If he practice taqwa, if he remembers Allah, yahdi, his heart will be guided. Qalbahu, his heart will be guided towards Tawheed, towards Allah. And as a matter of fact, musibat after musibat after musibat, calamity after small, tiny calamity, after a small calamity, after a small calamity, bigger calamity, biggest calamity started coming for Hussein. From Ali Akbar to Ali Asghar. The Ali Akbar calamity, musibat is Asghar. But the Ali Asghar musibat is Akbar. Why Akbar first, Asghar later? Because Akbar is to check the taqwa. If it is in the line of Allah, when Akbar dies, he says, Alhamdulillah, what a great, may Allah accept the Qurban. Akbar died, test for Hussein, does have taqwa, yahdi qalb, and the heart is guided. Guided where? For another calamity. What is that calamity? Is Asghar, but this is Akbar calamity. But this Asghar calamity once again is what? Hussein tossed the blood in the air. Huh? He passes that test as well. Now Hussein is there by himself. Yeah. On and Muhammad, ma ra'aytu illa jamila. These two children of Hazrat Zainab, as they say, they were definitely martyred in Karbala. All the Maqatil reports, even the weak ones and the strong ones, all Maqatil, all narratives of Karbala mentions that On and Muhammad, they were slain in Karbala. They were children. They were very small. Now, obviously, there are always difference of opinion in regards to the narrative of Karbala. What happened, when happened, who were there, who were not there. Please don't get into this. To all my youth, don't get into this. Leave that to academic and research people and let them do what they are doing. There is a cultural trend of these narratives being mentioned and has always been mentioned. Do not let go this culture. Do not let go this narratives being repeated to us by the Zakireen, by the scholars, by the ulama, right? Carry this on, this legacy. Imam Khomeini, I mean, in front of him, they would recite the maqatil, even weak maqatil. He did not stop this. He allowed, because he knows that whatever we have is because of Ashura. And he himself have said that, hasn't he? Whatever we have is because of Ashura. So therefore, my dear brothers and sisters, some say that On was the son of Hazrat Zainab. Muhammad was the son of Hazrat Abdullah, son of Jafar Tayyar. He was not the direct. Anyways, On and Muhammad, known to be the children eventually, obviously, of Hazrat Zainab, even though Muhammad may be from the older son or from his first wife of Hazrat Abdullah, Hazrat Zainab may be the second, whatever the case, the mother is Hazrat Zainab. On and Muhammad being there in Karbala is there is no doubt about it. They were there. Them being children, no doubt about it. They were there. Them joining Imam Hussein from Makkah. They say that Hazrat Abdullah, who was the son of Jafar Tayyar, a great companion and cousin of the Prophet Jafar Tayyar, and Hazrat Jafar Tayyar, who was the uncle of the Prophet, cousin of the Prophet, cousin of Imam Ali alayhi salam. Hazrat Abdullah was the son. Hazrat Abdullah was quite well to do and he had a lot of contacts with Bani Umayyah and others. He got a letter from the governor of Mecca for the safety of Imam Hussein and wanted Imam Hussein not to go to Kufa. And then he comes to Imam Hussein alayhi salam with this letter, and he also had two of his sons. Some reports say three, but two is famous. Two of his sons were there, On and Muhammad. They also came with him. And he requested Hazrat Abdullah, Oh Hussein, you are the Nur on this earth. You are the guide of Mu'mineen. Please don't go because they want to kill you. And I have this letter from the governor of safety of your life and your children's life. He insisted. I mean, imagine this, that he insisted so much that Imam Hussein had to mention him about the dream he had on the 27th night of Rajab, because he leaves on 28th. 27th night, Imam Hussein had a vision. Imam Hussein mentions that I saw Rasulullah, and Rasulullah told me that Hussein, look at this maqam, illuminating light. This maqam is for you, O Hussein. However, you will not get this maqam unless you come through Karbala. So you have to come to Karbala. So Hazrat Abdullah, may Allah bless his soul, alayhi salam. Some people say, why did Hazrat Abdullah did not join? You know, what happened? What was the reason? So he was not in the good books? No. Why Muhammad ibn Hanafiya did not join? Was he not in the good book? No. Everybody had their task to play. Everybody had their responsibility to take care of. Hazrat Abdullah had a different responsibility. Hazrat Muhammad ibn Hanafiya had a different responsibility to take care of. That wasiyat of Imam Hussein alayhi salam, which he wrote to Muhammad ibn Hanafiya, which we have today, is because Muhammad ibn Hanafiya protected that wasiyat of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. If he would have gone to Karbala and if he was shaheed, who would have protected the wasiyat of Imam Hussein alayhi salam? So everybody had their own responsibility and task which was given and by Allah, by Imam Hussein alayhi salam to fulfill. And Hazrat Abdullah did not join, perhaps because of that responsibility that he may had. So he came with the protection from letter of protection of life, but Imam Hussein rejected it. Then look at this man. He says, he says, here's On, my son, and Muhammad, two young sons. Which father? Where he's sure. Abdullah is sure that On and they're gonna kill Hussein. They're gonna kill the children. Abdullah is 100%. That's why he's coming here trying to get the letter, right? But he brings his sons. And he gives his sons. What a man, what a father, to give his own sons to Hussein. And he says, when the time comes, O children, raise your sword to protect your uncle. I don't want to see you alive if Hussein is not alive. Life without Hussein is no life. So he gave On and Muhammad, the young ones, to Imam Hussein. And on the 9th night, they gave bay'ah to Imam Hussein. The first few who gave bay'ah to Imam Hussein after Hazrat Abbas alayhi salam, among them was On and Muhammad. But as they say, it was very difficult for uncle to send On and Muhammad because they are the children of Zainab. Hussein and Zainab had a very special relationship with each other. The brother and sister were very unique. They have a relationship, a wila'i, right? And that's why Hazrat Zainab accompanied Imam Hussein alayhi salam, although the wife of Hazrat Abdullah, and Hazrat Abdullah allowed her to go to Karbala while knowing what will happen of her when she goes to Karbala. And On and Muhammad as well, he gave. So here, this shows the sincerity and this shows the taqwa of Abdullah. And that, when the musibat is there, his heart will be guided. He was guided and he gave his children for the sacrifice. So here, Imam Hussein says, I cannot send On and Muhammad in battle. It is not easy for me. So when they used to come to the uncle to seek permission, the uncle will send them back. Hussein is in the midst of the war, planning, sending one soldier after the other. Don't think the battle of Karbala was just like, oh, we are just 72, we're going to be killed, so let's just go and fight. No. Imam Hussein planned the battle. Imam Hussein structured who to go first, the right wing and the left wing. The night before, he checked the ground of Karbala at night. Are there any trenches? Are there any ditches that the enemy may ambush? He calculated the battle of Karbala and he controlled the battle of Karbala. He knew it that he's gonna be Shaheed, but he wanted to give the biggest blow to the enemy, right? And there are other riwayat which I don't want to get into right now, why the battle of Karbala happened. Although Imam Hussein knew that he's going to be killed, but still he went to the battle. Why did he go that? Because if he wouldn't have gone, and if there was no battle, these enemies would have stayed in their houses and created a havoc and trouble for the spread of Islam. These enemies who were sitting in their houses planning against Islam and Mu'mineen, they came out in the battle and Imam Hussein took their life away, because the sword of Hussein and the sword of Ali does not eliminate a soul that have any possibility of light in 7 generation. That is the hadith of Imam Ali alayhi salam, when Malik Ashtar and Imam Ali was fighting, and Imam Ali, when he raises his sword, when he kills, he looks at the 7 future generation. Hussein the same way. If these enemies wouldn't have come to the forefront to eliminate these thorns for the spread of Islam, Islam wouldn't have spread. Imam Hussein have to come in the battle face to face and eliminate these thorns, would eliminate these hurdles for the spread of Islam. Anyways, that's a different philosophy to discuss later on, perhaps. So On and Muhammad, Hussein in the middle of the battle, planning, sending one soldier after the other, who to go first, who to go next, preparing them. All of a sudden, all of a sudden, Hussein sees Zainab standing at the door of the tent. All of a sudden, Hussein says, Zainab, why? You are here in the middle of the battle where Hussein is so busy. Zainab comes. But Zainab doesn't come alone. Zainab brings On and Muhammad. And he says, Hussein, you have to send them. Zainab herself comes to Hussein, because they are saying, we are coming to Imam Hussein and asking them, oh uncle, give us the chance, give us the respite. Hussein is avoiding them, is sending them that. So now they have brought Shafa'at, they have brought mother to intercede. And how Hussein can reject Zainab now? Zainab perhaps may have asked, oh brother, I haven't asked anything from you all my life. I haven't asked anything from you all my life. I'm asking you one thing, oh my brother. I want to send my children On and Muhammad as a sacrifice to you. Hussein couldn't do anything. Hussein himself prepared On and Muhammad. He put the armor, he prepared them, and he said, On Muhammad, go. They brought the steed. The brother and sister looking at these two young lads, these young ones. Some of the reports, they say that when they used to tie the sword will touch the ground. This is how little they were. And then On and Muhammad, what a furious battle. Maqatil have reported 30 to 39 enemies were killed by On and Muhammad. There is another account. Together they were fighting. They were fighting together. The enemies were coming, they were fighting together. Now Umar Saad says, vow unto you, what is wrong with you? You are unable to kill these two little children? And the soldiers will reply, Umar Saad, do you know whose grandchildren are these? These are the grandchildren of Ja'far Tayyar. Jafar al-Tayyar was known as a great fighter, was a great fighter who have lost his arms, just like how Abu al-Fazl lost his arms. He was well known among the Arabs. And these are the children of Jafar al-Tayyar. They would fight and come back. And the mother would say to them, make me proud, my children. Make me proud in front of your grandfather. Make me proud in front of my father Ali, that this is the training of Zainab. This is the training of Hazrat Abdullah. They fought. So Umar Assad said that you cannot fight with them together. You have to do something about it. You got to separate them. They separated on and they separated Muhammad. And that is why perhaps those who have gone to Karbala, they may have seen that the graves of On and Muhammad is very far from the battleground of Karbala. Why? Because they have gone that far fighting. They have gone very far fighting because they were buried where they fell. So they fought. And what a battle they fought. What a battle they fought. They were attacked. They were separated and they were attacked. When they were attacked, the they say Muhammad became Shaheed first. Muhammad gives salutations and salams to uncle. Assalamu alayka ya Aba Abdullah. Imam Hussein swiftly comes to Muhammad to aid and help, but there was no life left in Muhammad, and Muhammad's soul departed. And Muhammad was worried about On. What is with the brother? Brother is all alone, and the little On who was younger to Muhammad. Then he gives salams and salutations. Assalamu alayka ya Aba. Imam Hussein reaches him. Both the bodies of On and Muhammad were brought to the tents, near the tents, as they say that everybody came doing matam and lamentation on the bodies of On and Muhammad. But who is not seen on the body of On and Muhammad is Zainab. Zainab is not there. Zainab is not there to do the matam. Why is she not there? She says perhaps the brother will think that because of Hussein, the children, the nephews have been killed. So Zainab does not want to give any pain to the heart of Hussein. And look at the strength of Zainab. Zainab, when the heads of the Shuhada was brought, when they were freed, oh, one head after the other. The head of Hussein was brought. Zainab went took the head. The head of Ali Asghar was brought in Sham, in Syria, when they were freed. Rubab went and get the head of Qasim. All heads were brought, but two little heads remained in the tray. So the ladies started looking each other. They said, "These are the children. Are they orphan? They don't have any mother to claim the heads." When they looked closely, whose heads they were? They were the heads of On and Muhammad. Where is the mother of On and Muhammad? Zainab. She is doing matam. She is with the head of Hussein. Ala lanatullah ala qawm al-zalimin. سيعلم الذين ظلموا أي منقلب ينقلبون. باسمك العظيم الأعظم الأجل الأكرم بفاطمة وأبيها وبعلها وبنيها وسر المستضعفيها بعدد ما أحاط به علمك يا الله 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 يا رحمن يا رحيم يا مقلب القلوب ثبت قلوبنا على دينك يا قاضي الحاجات يا كافي المحمات إنك على كل شيء قدير يا الله يا رب. May Allah accept this zikr musibat of On and Muhammad from all of you, dear brothers and sisters, and reward you the best in this dunya and the hereafter. Ya Allah, please haze the reappearance of our 12th Imam and include us as the faithful companions of the 12th Imam. Ya Allah, bihaqqi Muhammad wa ali Muhammad, protect all our young ones and give them tawfiq to walk on the seerah, on the footsteps of Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam. May Allah protect all of the mu'mineen and mu'minat who are doing azadari and their azadari from calamities, from these viruses. Let be not the case where they say that, oh, see, we told you not to have majalis and you have increase in cases. Let not of all of these happen. May Allah protect all the azadari, and may Allah protect all the mu'mineen from this virus and from all calamities and balaya, inshallah. Rahmallahu man qara al-Fatiha li arwah al-mu'minina wal-mu'minat, especially the marhumin of you all. Al-Fatiha. Bismillah.
Thank you so much, Sheikh, for a very enlightening talk about taqwa. Sheikh, we received a few questions during the talk. Do you have time to answer them now, or perhaps we can answer them another time?
I'm fine. I'm free. I'm really sorry if I take too much of your time. It increased.
No, Sheikh, it was very enlightening. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. May Allah accept, inshallah. I'm at your service, inshallah.
Thank you very much, Sheikh. Sheikh, one of the first questions we received was, how do you know if something is an imtihan or adhab for you?
Very good question. The reflection on this azab or imtihan helps. Whenever we face something, are we falling on in remembrance of Allah? That's if we are falling on the remembrance of Allah, it is an imtihan. With this calamity that come, we are forgetting Allah. Sometimes it happens, sometimes some sort of thing happen that we completely, forget, and we get into, it's like we get into trouble after trouble and trouble, and we just don't remember that, hey, why am I not reciting Ziyarat Ashura? Why am I not reciting Hadith Kisa? Why am I not really thinking that maybe this is an azab and I should do astaghfar about it? I should seek forgiveness about it. So if it is something that will remind us of divine realities, then it is an imtihan.
Thank you very much, Sheikh. Sheikh, the next question is, how do you know if you are passing these imtihan?
Usually, it happens, in your life and in your future as you're still young, that when you are feeling strong in terms of your iman, you speak to Allah and you ask for, why am I not tested? As I say, there's a hadith from Amirul Mu'mineen who says that every 40 days, a mu'min is tested. If he is not tested, then he should reflect in his iman, right? But this is a very tough hadith. No one wants to have an imtihan. Nobody wants to go through test and trouble. It's not that easy, right? But in our lifetime, we kind of, Allah opens our heart to say that this is really a test, and it's going to carry on for some time. And it reaches to a point where you tell to Allah that, man, it's enough now. Come on. I'm reaching my limit. Please, Allah, do something about it, right? And then, alhamdulillah, something happens, right? And after that something happens, you say that, you look back and say, wow, we did it. Alhamdulillah, I was okay. Then you challenge again, you see. Then another thing happens. So this is something that we see, that we pass these tests. And usually, like I said, how do we know we pass the test? One test after the other, the second test or the new test that will come, the new imtihan that will come, is usually have a much of a stronger muscle than the younger one. Like for example, I gave in the Masaib the example of Ali Akbar and Ali Asghar. Because Ali Akbar, although he's a son of Imam Hussein, but still, compared to Ali Asghar, usually the test, the imtihan, it becomes greater and greater. So if we pass the test, the next text is much more kind of stronger. Yeah. But like the verse, like I said, the verse says that the one who have taqwa, his heart will be guided in the right direction. So that if the test comes, and if I have taqwa, if I remember Allah in that test, then this is really an imtihan. It will be guided. We will see inshallah, that we're going to pass this test. We're going to go through, one after the other. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Sheikh. Sheikh, we have one final question. How can we best teach our children that Allah is real and instill taqwa in them?
Yeah, it's very difficult because these days, you know, maybe we have to create some TikTok app to really teach them, perhaps. I don't know. you know, Um I think disciplining them would help because children, initially, we teach them about Allah. Allah is there, and they have very, very nice questions as well. But if we discipline them, this naturally develop their mind to accept rationality and logic and order. And Allah is perfect. Allah is the one who gives order to things. And in it, so disciplining them, 9 o'clock is the bedtime, 8 o'clock you wake up, all of those things. When you go to someone's house, this is how you should behave. When you go to a shopping place, don't just rush for candies or chocolates, and we're not going to buy it now, we're going to buy it later. Disciplining them gives a nice foundation to teach them God wariness. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Sheikh, for such a lovely talk today. Very insightful.
Thanks very
Um,
much for allowing me to be at your service. It was an honor.
Alhamdulillah, we really did learn a lot today.
Thank you.
Inshallah, tomorrow we will be continuing with the series. It will be live streamed on Zoom, YouTube, and Instagram, so please do join in then as well. Thank you very much, Sheikh. And
Thank you very much. Thank you. I take your leave, inshallah. Iltimas dua. Thank you. Thank you.